Wrong screen. Well, hey, good morning. Welcome to the Blue Gamer Bluecast Morning Show. I'm your host, Adam Blue, 30 plus year video game enthusiast and industry analyst. And today for 5/5/25, we're going to go through the latest gaming news, what I've been playing, stuff like that. Howdy, Ultronymous. Howdy, Chris. Good to see you guys already this morning. Hope you guys had a good weekend. By the way, did you play any games this weekend? Let me know. I did, and we'll get to that shortly. As for news, there's a couple little interesting things, then maybe we'll jump into some gameplay of some games. But yeah, let's start with what I've been playing. And I know I already saw, I forgot again to set this up, but it's really easy to do. There we go. Okay, so what have I been playing? Dynasty Warriors Origins. Remember I played the demo of this earlier this year, and I wanted to get the game, and I just never got around to it. Well, it was on sale, so I picked it up. And it's a lot of fun. I really like the amount of controls in combat compared to previous Dynasty Warriors. You know, Dynasty Warriors games have always been interesting to me, but there's always been that kind of level of sort of basic combat. This version enhances the combat, and I'm really enjoying it. So, and I hadn't played that much yet. This is 34 minutes. But yeah, what I played was fun. And then, yeah, Aliens Dark Descent, only 12 minutes, but I did jump into that. It's on Xbox Game Pass, and I was wanting to play it. It's like I'd beaten that RTS recently, Tempest Rising. So I was in the mood of a little bit of strategy, but for some reason I got out of that and went right into Dynasty Warriors. I think I was waiting for it to install or something. I don't know. Okay, and then this Jamestown Plus. So... and I don't know if it was like 2011 or something. This game came out on Steam called Jamestown. In fact, let's look it up. Yeah, Jamestown. And I had played in not too much time, but it's a shmup. But 4 hours and 6 minutes. But then I guess a few years ago, they came out with this Plus version. It just has some extra levels, some improvements to it. It's a fun shmup. And I kind of like how it's structured because like it's one level at a time. It actually reminds me of what Thunder Force 3 or Lightning Force did that, but this saves your progress. So it's not as punishing, but fun game. So yeah, that was the weekend, and that was it. And let me think real quick. If there happens to be another console or something I was using with a game that doesn't document it, but no, I haven't even really been playing that much SD Eternal on mobile. I already played a whole lot, so I kind of got tired of it. All right, Ultronymous, Genshin Impact. Oh, Natsuki Chronicles, that's cool. Did you on Cyber Sleuth? That's right, you were talking to me about that one. Okay. Yeah, Genshin Impact, that's one that I started a long time ago, but never really played much more of, but my brother was into it. I know a lot of people into it. That Genshin Impact seems like that's your side game that you just always have going that you could just jump into and do stuff with. I might do that. Because, I don't mind. There's been times in the past where I had that. I think the biggest time for me was GBO2 and Star Wars Battlefront. They were my sort of like side games where once a day, I'd be doing my check-ins or, on the weekend, I'd make sure I'd do some good battles, long term. Actually, I need to look this up. Battlefront 2? Excuse me, I'll just do that. Yeah, Battlefront 2 on Xbox One, 429 hours. That's and I didn't even get all the achievements. That's insane. I'm almost sick of what I just have experienced now. I had no idea. Actually, I think I did. And yeah, I guess I played a bunch through EA Play. That must be PC. And then PS4, 55 hours. Wow. Is that, yeah, how often was I playing this game? And then there's the first Battlefront, which strangely not showing up on here. Do you have to, there we go. Yeah, it's funny, the first Battlefront, I didn't play that much until, and I'm talking about of the newer types, until after the second one. I just, it's cool, but it's just, again, the old school Battlefront, which won't have the actual time that I played. It just because it had both the vehicles and the ground. Like, I'm surprised they just, that's kind of weird when you talk about video games. Usually what makes them successful is them pushing the boundaries and pushing the limits, and the original Battlefronts did that because you had space, you had land. And then with all the technology that we see with the newer games, with EA, with Battlefront pushing the graphics but not the gameplay, and that's something that always bothered me and still does today. By wanting to make the graphics look so good, it didn't allow them to do the seamless space and ground combat. So because of that, you had a kind of a diminished experience. And so as cool as the graphics are, they don't matter. And I think these companies have been figuring that out. So there's, an example of gameplay pushed aside in favor of graphics, thinking that's what the mainstream wanted. Okay. Zenless Zone Zero, whatever it's called, and Marvel Rivals, Chris. Thank you. Those are good ones. Okay, I'll try them. So it could be addicting. It's like Breath of the Wild, but with more playstyle varieties. Oh my gosh, it's like what Breath of the Wild. Yeah, I remember when I started up, it had that. I'm gonna have to jump back into it. It felt like a step back in the reboot Star Wars Battlefront 2, like it was again leaning too much into the modern FPS style. Exactly, 100%. I'm right there with you. Okay. Let's jump into some news real quick. This is pretty interesting. I hadn't heard of VGBs. They don't have that many subscribers. I mean, more than me, but I just mean in terms of video game. And I hate to say journalists because I feel like these people have earned it more in their own way, kind of a video game influencer. I don't know what the term is, but these guys, this John, I don't know, but I think he might have been with Yahtzee and that crew maybe or something. And then there's Nikki. He did stuff with Giant Mom. I don't know these guys too well, but I know that they've been inside. And then they had Jeff Grossman on to talk and they happened to be talking about what went on with, Polygon and Giant Bomb closing. So apparently all of that stuff was, that's pretty much why Jeff had left when he did, because there's writing on the wall for that. So anyway, kind of interesting. I love this type of discussion just because I've been so inside that part of video game for so long. Hearing more details from the inside is really cool. So that's VGBs. Okay, Bungie fails to provide evidence for Destiny 2 copyright lawsuit because the content is vaulted. A judge has denied Bungie's motion to dismiss the case because it can't present the archived content in question. That's pretty interesting. I mean, this whole thing that went on. So Bungie filed a motion to have the case dismissed, stating so a writer sued Bungie last year for copyright infringement, alleging that Destiny 2's Red Legion was taken directly from his writings on WordPress 4 years before the game was released. That's very interesting. Bungie filed a motion to have the case dismissed, stating that the examples cited in Martineau's suit are demonstrably different in Destiny 2 than his work, but the demonstrably part has become an issue for the studio. Much of the content being cited comes from Destiny 2's Red War campaign and DLC like The Curse of Osiris. However, because Destiny 2 is a live service with an evolving storyline, this content has now been placed in the Destiny content vault where it can no longer be accessed by players, even by Bungie itself, which I don't think is a good practice in video games at all. At all. Bungie sent the court an affidavit by Destiny 2 game director Tyson Green in which he explained why the studio was unable to provide the Red War and Curse of Osiris content to the court in its original form. The Red War and Curse of Osiris legacy builds can no longer run because their outdated code is incompatible with Destiny 2's underlying operational framework, which really, if they needed to, they could get something working for the court, which has evolved considerably since the Red War and Curse of Osiris campaigns were retired. As a result, Bungie cannot feasibly provide the court with the original Destiny 2 game as it existed in 2017, including the accused. Yes, and they're going to have version history. They're going to have their different, if they're doing things correctly. Nor will Bungie be able to produce the accused campaigns in operable or reviewable form if this matter proceeds to formal discovery. Bungie attempted to make up for this by instead submitting player-made YouTube videos and entries from the fan-written Destinypedia wiki explaining the lore of the now archived content. The court, deciding this wasn't sufficient evidence, has denied Bungie's motion to dismiss the case because Martineau's accusations are aimed at the game's story itself, not third-party retellings of it. Wow. While the plaintiff does reference Destiny 2 in his complaint, he does not reference the YouTube videos containing Destiny 2 game footage. So The court will not consider the exhibits attached to the defendant's motion to dismiss and will not convert the defendant's motion to dismiss to a motion for summary judgment. The court wrote there has not been a sufficient time for discovery, and the attachments are admittedly of third-party origination. Their authenticity is not been. This is very interesting. So, yeah, the case is going to be continuing. So it's just very interesting because someone came up with some cool, a fan fiction or story, and I don't know if it's related to Destiny or just something on the side, posted online, and it got used. And this is something that does happen. And you never know if it's inadvertently. Like, let's say you hired someone to come up with a story and they read something online, thought it was cool, used that to pass along, and then the other team's looking at it, not knowing what it comes from. I bet that stuff happens. I mean, it does. There are cases, I can't really think right now, where I was just talking about this yesterday, where, people put stuff online and then, people copy it and you can claim, hey, look, here's proof that I came up with that. Let's see. Hey, JabKillX. Fulcrum, good to see you. I doubt the Destiny drama will happen just like Assassin's Creed lawsuit from a few years ago. Yeah. That feels like a scummy way to try and get out of a lawsuit. We may have plagiarized you, but it also can't ever be played again. So, yeah, no, that's what it seems like they're saying. So it was 100% a fanfic or just an original work that they jacked? Yeah, that's what I was curious. I didn't know if it was just from his writings on WordPress, so I don't know if he was doing a Destiny fanfic or his own original work. But it's interesting stuff. Okay, Half-Life 3 is playable end-to-end, Valve Insider claims. We hear so much about Half-Life 3, and to be honest, I'm not like super excited to play, but I'm excited just because it's like an event in gaming, just because, Half-Life has had its time. Like it's kind of helped move gaming forward in some ways. So I'm really curious. And it's funny how much I thought Alex was great, but not enough to play through it. And they stressed that Half-Life 3 is not a VR title. So it's very interesting that I feel like a lot of people, including Valve, thought VR was the future. And there's probably some part of it that is, but it ended up not being. It's very interesting. This is the furthest it's ever been, he explained, period. The game is playable end-to-end, period. It's never been that far. And they're optimizing it, polishing it. They're probably content locked, or if they're not, mechanic locked. So here's my thought. Since Grand Theft Auto 6 is getting moved until next year, and I think a lot of companies were already planning releases, I wonder how much of an empty later year we're going to have. That could be a good time to drop Half-Life 3. Could be. Okay, let's see. So Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 sales top 3 million. Kingdom Come Deliverance tops 10 million. It's great to hear when games sell a lot, just like with Monster Hunter, the new one. And it makes me think like, oh, I should try to play it. So I am going to try to play it eventually. I don't see that ever being a game that I could beat. But you know what? There's times where I play these sort of immersive or survival sims, and I get pretty far, and I feel like I get a good experience out of it. One is this game called Don't Starve. That was a really fun game that had survivalness to it, and there's probably a way to beat the game I never figured out. I would have these save files of me like trying to survive in it. Very interesting type of game, but never beat it. But I felt like I got everything out of it. So yeah, I just feel that's the thing. As cool as it's sold a whole lot. This game looks good. It's immersive. Sometimes that immersiveness can just be boring when I really just want to get to some mechanics quickly. So I just want to shout that out. And then Nintendo is suing the accessory manufacturer that showed off the Switch 2 early. So that was very interesting because I guess if you guys remember earlier this year, sometimes I'd cover leaks about Switch 2 stuff, especially around CES when they were showing off like peripherals. And so they had like some mock-ups or whatever. And I remember hearing about that and thinking that was crazy. Like, wow, I guess they're not worried about getting sued or whatever. But no, I guess they are getting sued. So, I don't know too much of the details, but I guess what happened was, Genki had access to Switch 2 stuff and showed it off before they were supposed to. So either they're going to come up with the reason why they did and it's valid, or just, hey, they didn't and they're going to get in trouble. So when it comes to lawsuits, sometimes things can be valid. And I think, a company needs to be able to trust who they're working with. Okay, if that happens all the time, I'll see an ad for a game. I'm like, that looks cool. And then I go and then it changes. to something else completely. Okay, here we go. What is this? Forza Horizon 5? Wow. I can't believe Forza Horizon 5 looks this good. Um, that looks really cool. Okay. Compulsion Games insist Microsoft isn't forcing generative AI on Xbox developers. So this is kind of a weird article in a lot of ways. One is Compulsion Games. It's like, why does a developer have to insist that they're not being forced to use generative AI? And a lot of it is because when people hear AI, they get mad, and sometimes I don't think they know why they're mad. They're just mad. But it makes sense you don't force a generative AI, because when it comes to using AI, especially what Microsoft was talking about, there's a difference between the generative AI that's making the end result and the generative AI that's the iterative process to get to the end result. And you could do both ways. In my opinion, I don't think, unless it's a different IP, it's a new IP. Yeah, if it's some brand new IP, new mechanics, you want to do something new and it's all generative AI, depending on how it's implemented, that's fine. But I think a lot of how it's going to work is AI is going to be the backbone and the structure to quickly and maybe more cost effectively get games done. Because we can see right now how the industry is. And it's like, okay, what do we need to do about it? And we have these overinflated big budget games, and then we have people losing their jobs right after. Then we have the games that don't sell, so the studios get shut down. So what's going on? There's a lot of different things, a lot of it being how expensive it is to make video games, and AI is going to help make that cheaper. So, and not because AI is just going to then make the end result for you. No, it's just the AI has tools to help you quickly get to the end result. So I think in the meantime, we're going to get a mix of weird sort of stories where people are mad about AI, but really they're talking about if it's used generatively as an end result versus AI tools that can help get things done quicker. It's very interesting out there. And I feel like this is maybe a time, maybe related to like when the internet first came out, and then you had people that didn't know what email was and people that did. I think it's kind of like this right now, where there's people that when they hear AI, they get mad and they're like, oh, AI. But then there's people that are actually advancing their careers, their lives, because they're embracing it. It's pretty interesting time. Them saying it isn't forcing generative AI without prompting just makes me think they are. And you bring up a good point, Altarmus. I think they're saying this because people don't understand AI, and it's like this damage control. Even I had experienced this. I'm going to explain. I posted a project idea, proof of concept, where I created an entire fanfic out of AI, and I got some positive comments. But it's funny how rude some people were to me because I made something out of AI. And it's like, well, it's not like am I like stealing from somebody? Am I tricking some? No, it's like on my free time, I'm not getting paid, and I'm learning how to use these multiple tools to make something as a proof of concept. And so I can only bet someone as big as South of Midnight, who got a lot of crap anyway, has to do some sort of like damage control about the AI. And that's what all these companies are having to tiptoe about, because I guarantee you, both in Hollywood and video games right now, anything that is in development is using AI. It has to be 100%. But they're not talking about it in detail yet because of the backlash. And this is pretty interesting. So there's this documentary that just came out 4 days ago. Never heard of any of this, but it's this old arcade game called Sinistar. And it's just a documentary about its creation and all this stuff. It's very interesting. Yeah. So 2 years in the making, Cinemax takes viewers on a journey into the extensive cyber archaeology research involved with restoring the source code and documenting the development history to the 1983 arcade game Sinistar, featuring exclusive interviews with project lead and software engineer Noah Falstein, sound engineer Mike Metz, and video game designer John Newcomer. Sorry, this video offers a very comprehensive glimpse into one of the most innovative video games from the early 1980s. Now, Sinistar, I can't say I remember ever playing this. And then I remember let's see. 1983, year I was born, by the way, which is pretty crazy to think. Developed because you got to think by the time this was developed, the age of that person, and then by now, of them remembering it would be way. I don't know, just kind of weird to think they'd be way older than me. Yeah, very cool. Never played this, and maybe fun to give it a shot. But it's more of the video, what it represents in video games. Okay, let's jump into a game, shall we? And this is skin deep, something I heard about, another old Survivor thing. Okay, let's test out running Dynasty Warriors Origins. I think last time I did this was on OBS and the stream crashed. So let's see. All right. So far, so good. Let's move this a little bit. Okay, so Dynasty Warrior Origins came out in January. I've been meaning to play it, and here's something I do that I don't know if it's bad for the industry, but a lot of times I wait for something to be on sale if I don't need to play it right away. This is one of them. So a couple cool things. Oh, mouse control. A couple cool things is there's a lot of little things that this game does that I think is really cool. For instance, having this kind of overworld, and then I can choose to come here and do a fight. And some of these fights are very simple for the purpose of being like little quick, so you don't have to like spend a lot of time. Yeah, let's see if this. I think it's like, remember last time it was a demo, and this is the full game, and it seems to be fine. Oh. So what I really like about this is, again, there's like a bunch of different options for fighting, so it makes the game, even though it's still like crazy, it still makes it seem like there's more going on. Nice. Oh. Whoa. Okay. See, I love that you can do parries. There we go. Also love the metal music. That. There we go. Cool. Yeah, I love that there's just those small little missions you can do just to kind of level up and have some fun. So. And then, yeah, skill tree here, which that is really cool. Let's see. I do want to get all these. Chain evasion enables you to evade repeatedly. You really want that. Whirlwind kick. I think it's like a classic. Okay, and then boost defense. Do I really need a boost defense? It doesn't seem like that's been an issue. But anyway, I'll come back and anyway, I wanted to show that real quick. One, it's running fine without crashing the stream. So I do think it has to do with one, I don't know how much that was OBS, but also it was the demo. And I've noticed that with demos on here, because I play a lot of demos, that they're not optimized the best. Okay. Speaking of demos, we're going to try this other one. Darkenstein 3D. Let's let that load. They really stressed you can't just mash your way to figure. Yeah, I love that, because there's sometimes where I'm in a rhythm and I'll get damaged really bad of my health, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm not really paying attention. Oh, they're trying to make it sound like Wolfenstein. So yeah, I haven't This is a demo of a game that's coming out later. I don't understand. Okay. Oh, controller. Does it have invert? Let me very high. Okay. I have no idea what to expect from this. Oh, if they called it Darkenstein, they could have built it around playing as the dog instead.
The world's gone mad.
Autonomous.
Are at war.
You were absolutely right.
All you
They
care
totally
about
dropped
right
the ball.
now is how cold the streets are. After failing to seize classified American documents for booze money,
I will skip
you became a wanted
just
man.
to get into the game. BJ Borkowitz. Okay. Here we go. I might use mouse and keyboard. Interesting. So it had me facing this way. Oh, I got something. I don't know if there's a jump. Okay, let's see what we got here. What? Oh, different difficulties. Interesting. Okay. So I'm assuming you fight Nazis in this.
Hey, soldier. Wait, a hope?
Looking for my dog. Seen it?
Well, I saw a lot of dogs. Are you drunk or something? Look, you should...
Huh? Oh, sorry. I was just looking at your boots. Can I borrow them?
Why do I
Okay.
bother?
Thank you, sir.
Oh,
All right, so I see that this game has a lot of humor in it. So I just took this guy's boots and that killed him. Okay. Press. Oh, okay. Oh, now that I got the boots, I can kick. Oh. I wonder if that's a secret. Yeah, look at that. Weird.
One more chance at life.
Okay. Nope.
No chance.
Oh, okay. Fell in. Okay. Yeah, it's starting to look like Castle Wolfenstein.
Flashlight in one hand, a gun in the other. Handy.
Is that like gold? Oh, a magazine. I wonder if I can go. Oh, I don't know. You found some gold. Oh, okay. Yeah, this is it's very interesting how much this pulls from Wolfenstein, but it's like some weird different game. Let's see. Magazine. There's a phone. Blueprints. I can't answer the phone. It is dark. Is that why they call it Darkenstein? Okay. Oh.
Locked.
Uh-oh. Heard dog barking. I don't know if that's what I should be
Damn,
doing.
that's a dog.
I'm gonna go over here real quick. Ah,
I need the blue key.
okay. Okay, this is pretty cool. I mean, so this comes out later in May, and I don't know how much, more is going to be to this. Oh, that's... Oh, wow. Is that like some robot dude? Okay, see, this is what I was talking about. Like, what is going to be the little interesting things going on? Okay. Okay, it wasn't here. It was that other side. And I do got to go, so let me get to that one place, then I'll save my game. I don't know if I'll play this again, but this is... this has, like, some charm to it, and, a little interesting. I bet it's like an indie-developed game with a low budget, but it's doing something interesting, so I find that to be fun. Alright, I probably need, a key to go to that door. So, alright, I'm gonna get out. Let's look real quick at the store page for this. Alright. Oh, planned date is just sometime in 2025, so not May. The demo came out back... Old demo... Oh, so this is a demo that's been coming out for some time, and you're a hobo. You rescue your dog. Okay, this is pretty fun. I not that it's supposed to be a serious FPS, but I think it's got some classic kind of boomer shooter feel to it, but also being Wolfenstein fighting Nazis, that's kind of fun. But you're also a hobo. It looks like you have a rat and a dog with you, so the hobo guy. Yeah, it's kind of cool. So anyway, there we go. That's it for Monday's edition of the Blue Gamer Bluecast Morning Show. Hope you all had a good time and have a good rest of the day. I'll see you tomorrow. Hopefully there'll be some other game news that comes out, but in the meantime, Doom Guy versus Hobo Guy. Okay, so thank you for helping me realize what that meant by adding guy at the end. They're playing off that. And that's what could be fun about this game. It just plays off FPS stuff. Anyway, I'm going to head out. Talk to you guys later.